Before you try to conquer the world, you must first conquer the voice inside your own head. That voice tells you to hesitate, to doubt, to wait, to stay small. It whispers danger where there is none, and weakness where there is strength. This is where fear is born, not in reality, but in the mind. And until you see this clearly, fear will continue to control your actions, your decisions, and your life. Fear is not an enemy outside of you. It is a mental construction. It is created when the mind projects itself into a future that does not yet exist or replays a past that is already gone. In this moment, right now, there is no fear. There is only breath, awareness, and presence. But the untrained mind cannot stay here. It runs forward, imagining loss, failure, rejection, pain. And the body reacts as if these imagined events are already real. This is why fear feels so powerful. The mind does not distinguish clearly between imagination and reality. When a thought is repeated often enough, the nervous system responds. The heart beats faster, the breath becomes shallow. Muscles tighten, yet nothing has actually happened. The danger exists only as an idea. A warrior understands this difference. He does not fight the thought, he observes it, and in observation, fear begins to dissolve. Many people try to escape fear by avoiding situations that challenge them. They believe safety is found in comfort. But comfort is where the mind becomes weak. Avoidance teaches the mind that fear is something to obey. Each time you step back, fear grows stronger. Each time you face it with awareness, it loses authority. This is not about being reckless, it is about being conscious. Fear is a signal, not a command. When you sit in stillness and watch your thoughts, you begin to notice a pattern. The same fears return again and again. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. These thoughts feel personal, but they are not unique. They are conditioned responses learned over time. Society, upbringing, past experiences, all of these shape the mind. But conditioning is not identity. What you have learned can be unlearned. Bemte. A warrior trains the mind the same way he trains the body, through repetition and discipline. You do not wait for fear to disappear before acting. You act with awareness while fear is present. Over time, the mind the refrigeration porsi sentiation. Over time, the mind learns a new response. It learns that fear does not mean danger. It learns that discomfort does not mean destruction. It learns resilience. Men understand this deeply. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is clarity in the presence of fear. When the mind is clear, fear has no story to feed on. It cannot exaggerate. It cannot control. It becomes small. It becomes manageable. It becomes a passing cloud rather than a permanent storm. Lunged, the greatest illusion fear creates is the belief that you are fragile. But look at your life. Look at what you have already survived. The mind forgets strength quickly and remembers pain vividly. This imbalance keeps you trapped. A warrior corrects this by grounding himself in reality. Reality shows you that you are capable, adaptable, and far stronger than the thoughts that try to limit you. When fear arises, do not ask, how do I get rid of this? Ask instead, what is this thought trying to protect? Often, fear is simply the mind trying to maintain control. It prefers the known over the unknown, even if the known is painful. Growth threatens the mind's sense of certainty. That is why fear appears at the edge of transformation. Mindrous mastery begins when you stop identifying with every thought. You are not your fear. You are the one who notices it. This separation is power. In that space, choice returns. You can breathe. You can slow down. You can move forward with intention rather than impulse. Fear is not real in the way the mind presents it. It is a teacher disguised as an obstacle. If you meet it with awareness, it sharpens you. If you run from it, it rules you. The path of the warrior is simple but not easy. Train the mind, stay present, act with discipline. And remember, when the mind is mastered, fear no longer leads. You do. And this leadership over yourself is built through discipline, not emotion. Emotion is unstable by nature. It rises and falls like waves. One moment you feel strong, the next you feel uncertain. If your actions depend on how you feel, your life will have no direction. The warrior understands this early. He does not ask, do I feel like doing this today? He asks, what must be done? Discipline answers that question with clarity. Discipline is not punishment. It is structure. It is the framework that allows the mind to remain steady when emotions try to pull it in different directions. Fear often enters through emotion. A sudden feeling of anxiety, doubt, or resistance appears, and if you are not disciplined, that feeling becomes an excuse. The mind says, today is not the right time. I am not ready. I will start tomorrow. Discipline cuts through these illusions. It moves you forward despite the noise. When fear is not real, why does it still stop so many people? Because emotion feels real. The body reacts and the mind believes the reaction. Discipline teaches you to separate sensation from decision. You may feel fear, but you do not let it decide your actions. You may feel tired, but you still show up. You may feel uncertain, but you continue the practice. Over time, the mind learns that emotion does not control behavior. And when emotion loses control, fear loses its power. Being a warrior trains every day, not only when motivation is high. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Discipline stays. This is why consistent practice is more important than intense effort. Small actions repeated daily reshape the mind. Each disciplined act becomes evidence that you are in control. Each time you act despite fear, the mind updates its belief about who is in charge. Fear often disguises itself as logic. It says it is protecting you. It tells you to wait, to be cautious, to avoid risk. Discipline listens, but it does not obey blindly. It evaluates. It asks, is this real danger or is this discomfort? Most of the time, fear is simply discomfort wearing the mask of danger. Discipline allows you to step into discomfort without panic. It keeps you grounded. The body is an important ally in this training. When the body is disciplined, the mind follows. Regular movement, controlled breathing, and stillness practices strengthen your nervous system. A calm body sends a clear signal to the mind, there is no emergency. This is why warriors train physically. Not to dominate others, but to master themselves. A disciplined body creates a disciplined mind. Conderfers and Prumbisa Parife. There will be days when fear feels heavy. On those days, discipline becomes even more important. You do not try to fight the feeling. You do not try to escape it. You simply continue the routine. You breathe. You move. You focus on the next small action. Discipline simplifies life. It removes unnecessary choices. When the path is clear, fear has less space to grow. Understand this. Discipline is freedom. Many people believe freedom means doing whatever they feel like doing. In reality, that is slavery to emotion. True freedom is the ability to act according to your values, regardless of how you feel. When discipline is strong, fear becomes irrelevant. It may still appear, but it no longer dictates your direction. The warrior does not seek comfort. He seeks alignment between thought, action, and purpose. Discipline creates this alignment. It turns intention into reality. It transforms fear from an obstacle into a training partner. Each disciplined step strengthens trust in yourself, and when you trust yourself, fear loses its final weapon. This is how the mind is mastered, not through force, not through suppression, but through steady, disciplined action. Day by day, choice by choice, emotion fades, fear weakens. And what remains is clarity, strength, and the quiet confidence of a warrior walking his path. And what remains is clarity, strength, and the quiet confidence of a warrior walking his path. Yet even with discipline guiding your steps, another challenge waits at the edge of every journey: growth. Growth does not live in comfort. It does not live in ease or in the familiar. It lives beyond the boundaries you have set for yourself, beyond the habits that feel safe, beyond the routines that no longer challenge you. Fear is strongest at this edge because the mind prefers certainty. Comfort feels safe, predictable, and manageable. But the truth is, comfort is the cage where potential goes to sleep. To grow, you must step into the unknown. Every step beyond comfort is a step into uncertainty, and uncertainty triggers fear. This is natural, but it is also temporary. The mind screams because it does not yet understand what lies ahead. The body reacts because it is wired to protect you. But the warrior does not wait for fear to disappear. He moves forward anyway. He understands that discomfort is a signal, not a stop sign. Each step beyond comfort is a choice to expand, to evolve, to master something greater than yesterday. Comfort is deceptive. It tells you that you are safe, but in truth, safety is stagnation. The mind becomes soft, the spirit weak, and the body unprepared for real challenges. Fear finds fertile ground in comfort because the mind grows lazy. It becomes attached to ease and resistant to change. Growth, however, is a teacher. It requires you to face the unfamiliar, to embrace the difficult, and to persist even when the mind and body scream for retreat. This is where the warrior is forged. Pain, struggle, and uncertainty are not enemies, they are allies in disguise. They are the mirrors that reflect your limits and the chisels that carve them away. The first time you step into discomfort, fear will roar. Your mind will list every reason to turn back. Your body will tighten, signaling danger. But with each repetition, each deliberate choice to continue, fear diminishes. The unfamiliar becomes familiar, and growth becomes inevitable. This is how mastery is built, through persistent action in the face of what feels impossible. The mind loves to predict outcomes, to cling to what it knows, but life rarely works according to prediction. The warrior embraces this unpredictability, understanding that growth is not linear. There will be failures, missteps, and moments of doubt. Yet every failure carries a lesson. Every moment of doubt is a chance to strengthen focus and awareness. By stepping beyond comfort, you train not only skill but character. You learn patience, resilience, and the quiet power of persistence. Growth also requires surrender, but not surrender to fear. Surrender to the process itself, to understand that you do not need to know every step before taking it, that the mind's need for certainty is an illusion, that real strength is found in action, not prediction. Each time you move forward despite fear, you prove to yourself that fear does not dictate the rules. You expand your limits, not because the journey is easy, but because you are willing to face difficulty with courage and presence. Remember, every warrior you admire once stood where you stand now, on the edge of comfort, staring into uncertainty, feeling the weight of fear pressing against the mind. They stepped forward anyway. They acted despite doubt. They embraced discomfort as the path to mastery. And so can you. Fear is not real. Growth lives beyond comfort. The moment you take one deliberate step into the unknown, the mind begins to see that limits are illusions, and the heart begins to recognize its own strength. This is where the warrior emerges, not in safety, not in ease, but in the bold choice to keep moving forward. This is where the warrior emerges, not in safety, not in ease, but in the bold choice to keep moving forward. And once you step beyond comfort, the next truth becomes clear. To master life, you must first master the mind. The mind is the battlefield where every victory or defeat begins. When the mind is uncontrolled, even the simplest moment can feel chaotic. Thoughts race, emotions flare, and fear gains a foothold. But when the mind is disciplined, steady, and aware, the moment itself bends to your will. Control the mind, and you control the experience of life. Densed, the mind reacts automatically to stimuli, but a warrior learns to pause before reacting. In the space between stimulus and response, choice exists. Most people give this space away to fear and habit. They act impulsively, driven by anxiety, doubt, or desire. The warrior, however, observes the rising thought, the tightening of the body, the quickening of the breath. He names it. He acknowledges it, and only then does he decide how to act. This simple practice transforms every challenge into an opportunity. Control is not suppression. It is presence. It is awareness of what is happening inside and around you. When fear appears, the mind wants to flee or resist, but a trained mind does not obey every impulse. It remains rooted in observation and clarity. The breath becomes an anchor. The senses become tools, not distractions. So, the body and mind move in harmony. In this state, even chaos becomes navigable. Fear loses its urgency because the mind does not inflate its story. Mastery of the mind is mastery of the moment, because every external situation is filtered through perception. Two people can face the same event and experience it entirely differently. One is paralyzed by fear, the other moves with clarity and purpose. This is the distinction between reacting and responding. The warrior cultivates the ability to respond, not react. The moment does not control him, he controls the moment. In every challenge, every uncertainty, every pressure-filled second is an invitation to practice this control. It requires patience, repetition, and discipline, but with each effort, the mind strengthens. Fear may still arise, but its power diminishes. The mind becomes a calm center in the eye of the storm. And in that calmness, clarity emerges. Action is precise, deliberate, and free from the chains of imagined danger. To control the mind is to reclaim freedom. To control the mind is to transform fear from a master into a messenger, guiding you, not stopping you. To control the mind is to reclaim freedom. To control the mind is to transform fear from a master into a messenger, guiding you, not stopping you. And once you have learned to step beyond comfort, master your mind, and face fear without surrendering to it, the final truth becomes clear. It is time to become the warrior of your own life. This is not a metaphor, it is a call to action. Life will always present challenges, doubts, and fears. The world will never wait for you to feel ready. The warrior does not wait. The warrior rises. To be a warrior in life means to take full responsibility for your thoughts, your actions, and your choices. It means understanding that no one else will fight your inner battles for you. Others may inspire you, support you, or guide you, but the moment of courage, the moment of decision, belongs entirely to you. Fear may knock at the door repeatedly, but you are the one who decides whether to open it or to remain steadfast. The warrior knows that mastery begins with ownership. Being a warrior is also about alignment between your mind, your body, and your purpose. You do not act impulsively. You do not live distracted by fleeting desires or illusions of safety. You move with intention. You speak with integrity. You make choices that reflect the values you wish to embody. Every act, no matter how small, is a reflection of the warrior within. Fear may still exist, but it becomes a guidepost rather than a barrier. It signals where growth is waiting, where courage is needed, and where transformation is possible. The journey of the warrior is lifelong. There is no final destination, only continuous practice. But in every moment that you choose awareness over reaction, discipline over impulse, courage over avoidance, you step into your true power. You become the leader of your own mind, the master of your own life, and the architect of your own destiny. Fear is not real. Strength, clarity, and freedom are. Step forward, face what comes, and live boldly. The world may challenge you, but the warrior within will always rise. Bendus, may you walk your path with courage. May your mind remain clear in every storm. And may the warrior inside you guide every step. Strength and clarity be with you always.